Hi guys, it's T-Bull, and today we have a look at the new LT ship, Yamato. I have Takeo Takagi as my commander. Kedrov and Cunningham are inspirations. There's the commander build. Here's the ship build. You'll notice in slot 2 we have the Damage Con mod. I haven't actually used the Damage Con module for probably well over a year. But, you know, with more and more light cruisers coming, we're going to see a lot of Clevelands, for instance. And having played, you know, a handful of games in that ship, seems to be pretty effective. So I'm figuring, I tried it on the Odin, trying it on the Yamato. Let's try that to Damage Con. I do like prop mod or steering gears on battleships, but it is what it is. You got to deal with the HE one way or the other. Here we had a game on Greece, domination mode, and we have 3 legendaries on our team. Well, we got for sure 2 Yamatos and a Grosser. I can't remember if we have an Alaska or not. They have 2 Alaskas, a Grosser, and a Yamato. So we're starting to see some fleshed out L-tier, legendary tier games. Which is nice, because, you know, previously when I got the Alaska about a month ago, however long ago it was, the games were kind of pathetic to play. So there was really no reason to rush forward on that first legendary tier. More and more players getting them, it'll be more and more fun. So, speaking of fun, this game, yeah, if you like high damage games, this is going to be a fun one for you. We're going to be testing out the ship. We got 90,000 health. We got 55% torpedo reduction. We got 3x3 460s, 16,000 damage, 16,280 to be precise with the Citadel shots with the AP. Don't load HE. I'm not going to tell you about the HE because you don't load HE in the Yamato. Only scrubs load HE. Don't do it. 19.1 range. Turret verse, 26.1. What happened here? I thought the turret verse used to take about 3 minutes during the test event, but it's down to 26.1 on my build. Kedrov is a big inspiration there. Shots away in Alaska. What's going on here? This guy must be new to the Alaska. You don't get shot in the side. He gone! You really don't get shot in the side by the Yamato. Yamato? Yamato. Tomato. I'm going Yamato. Don't get shot in the side with the Alaska. Don't get shot in the side by the Yamato in the Alaska. This guy did not get the memo. Why he didn't get the memo, I have no idea. The other guy was like 5 feet in front of him. But we got a shot away at him. Now we do have the entire enemy team to our right there. So we're going to try an angle. You can see on the diagram we're steepening up that angle there to make sure we don't get ripped by those guys. But we almost blew up that guy. 2 salvos in, 94,000 damage. Come on. What are we doing here? Positioning wise, you know, you can see that Grosser just kind of inching in towards the middle there. He's pushing in. He's kind of his own deal. But me and that other Yamato, he's the ship to the southwest on the map there. Decently spread out. Not as much as I'd like. I'd like to be about 1 more square over to the east to really get access to these broadsides. But right now they're all basically angled towards him. He's the ship they're aware of. Yamato is now aware of us. We didn't hit him in the Citadel, but we hit him hard. Grosser's not aware of us yet. Iowa's not aware of us yet. I was at a pretty decent angle right there. Now, if we were, let's say, in like an Iowa or a Vlad or something shooting that Iowa right there, and he's at that angle, I think we'd have a hard time doing more than like 4K damage with this salvo. We're not going to get a ripper on this one, but these guns, you're going to have a hard time really angling. I think like a well-armored battleship can angle to the extent that that was not a 40K salvo, it was like a 10K salvo. So that's, you're still going to want to angle, you're still going to want to try and protect yourself, but you got to understand what you're talking about when it comes to that. We're pinging like a madman. This is a pivotal moment in the game. You know, we have 1 destroyer per team. Here, their destroyer has, for some reason, pushed into our spawn, which is a suicidal move. It's a poor move as long as we punish it. I'm not even sure who's spotting them right there, but excellent job by this team shooting at the destroyer. The difference between a winning team and a losing team often is the willingness and ability to shoot destroyers. So if you're not comfortable with your own ability to hit destroyers at any range, practice it. If you don't want to do it in player lobby games, just go into the AI, only shoot destroyers for those games. Just practice shooting at them. They move a little bit different in AI. They always like move at half speed, and then, you know, we'll just try and sail directly at you till they torpedo point blank range. But that's a different subject. Just practice shooting them. get better at it. It'll make you a much better player. We've removed the Yudachi. That removes the torpedo threat, which is fine. We got a 55% torpedo damage reduction, torpedo belt. So torpedoes aren't a major problem for these, but you know those Yudachi players or the destroyer players, most of them still only just are going to want to be torping battleships, and you're the king of the battleship, so they're definitely going to want to torp you. There's a shot though from the Yamato right there, and that's what you don't want to be doing, is taking shots in the side. We're going to try and give it right back to him, but that's a wicked salvo. About 40% of our health quickly removed there. But anyway, we're removing the Yudachi as well. It's going to make it harder for them to keep us lit, you know, on this map. We've removed the eyes and ears. And you'll see throughout the remainder of this game, we're going to spend about half the game, maybe 2/3 of the game, undetected. You know, and that's kind of by design. There's going to be some instances like right now where it's a little bit harder. But once that ship pulls through the gap there, we're going to be taking a lot of blind fire shots. Or not necessarily blind fire, but shots that we're going to remain undetected while taking those shots. Pinging C, you can see on the scoreboard there, you might think, wow, we're up 2 ships. Score is score. Domination mode is 1 on score, so we do need to get those caps. Good job by the Lightning and the rest of the team getting in there, securing that middle cap. But we'd like to get them over there to that wing. Flip that one. It removes their one source of points that they currently have, and it would add another source of points to us. So that's a very strong play if you can flip that cap that the enemy starts with. And you're going to notice our position here. Basically what we're going to try and do is, for the next little while at least, we're going to recognize that these guys are going to try and push over there. They kind of recognize the flow of the game, I think, and they sense that we're going to try and capture that C cap. So we're going to see the red team move over there. But if I remain, I kind of flip towards them because we're getting a little out of range. So I turn around, go back towards them. But I'm going to try and remain in this area right here. So I have an angle, and I have the ability to punish any ships that push forward to the right. Maybe they're not quite ready to go over there yet, but we'll see as the game progresses how effective it is to kind of hold down these positions. And this is kind of, I don't know if it's more advanced or not. I think it's just a unappreciated part of the battleship play. Like, you might look at the score and say, wow, 147,000 damage. A lot of damage, right? But what we're doing right now is we're effectively holding the entire eastern side of the map, because if you look on the map, how this map's laid out, to get from where they are right now, kind of all clumped up in the center there, to the east, they're going to have to cross this really large expanse of open water. And in this position that we're in right now, we're going to be able to bomb on them. So it's going to be up to us and the random number generator as to how effectively we can punish them. But assuming our shots sail true, you know, they're going to have a really hard time getting over there. So once they recognize the destroyer's in the cap, they're going to go over there, try and defend it. They're probably starting to realize this game's getting out of control here. For the most part, they've been clumped up into a ball. You actually saw the Iowa, the Grosser, and the Yamato all in the same square early on. And that's a major disadvantage when you're going against a team who's fanned out. Their battleships are spread out into and allowing themselves to get these crossfires. You saw how effective that was earlier. That's why we have the damage. I suspect the Yamato to our west probably doesn't quite have as much. I don't know that. But he's been dealing with better angled targets. Again, they've been angled towards him, but because we're spread out enough that I can capitalize on it, at least one of us is getting these wicked salvos into them. So there Yamato kind of tried to sail west. He got turned around. He must have gotten... He was getting punished by me. He was getting punished presumably by the other Yamato. Here we got the high caliber already. So the damage is pouring in. We got 195. Just shy of 200. And it really... For the rest of this game, I think we wind up with like 213, 220, something in that range. I mean, we don't wind up getting a lot more damage. But what we are going to be able to do is help pin down the side. You can see now we've secured the entire east, and we've got the middle. So we have a 3-cap advantage. And to win this game, yes, we can sink all the enemy ships. Maybe that's how we win. Maybe it isn't. We'll find out in the future. But another way we can win is by holding on to these caps. So we're trying to continue to hold this line. I'm actually getting pretty close to being centrally located now. And this is a very powerful position. It's not necessarily a position this ship would want to take early, because it's not the best ship getting shot in the sides and stuff like that. You know, it's if you're centrally located, you got a lot of angles that can shoot at you. So getting there too early, a little bit risky. But the closer we get to the center, you can see the closer total coverage of the map that we, you know, basically have. What do we cover right now? About 80% of the map. And as we move north, one more grid's worth 80-85% coverage. So getting centrally located as a battleship with great range, very powerful. Here the Edinburgh's crossing over, and this is what we're going to be talking about. You can see basically how to get to that cap. He's got to sail out in the ocean, in the middle of the ocean here. Not a lot of coverage. Missed the shot there. I'm going to get a little fresher with this Wichita. I'm not sure why he doesn't kill him, but I don't know if he's shooting AP and the Edinburgh's angled, bouncing the shots, or if he's trying to drop spot and just doesn't want to shoot his guns. Whatever the reason, this Edinburgh's getting a little... He's getting further along than I would have thought. But, you know, this is kind of why we've been located where we are. We wanted to prevent these guys from moving there. Sometimes it's going to work. Number one, you got to aim properly. Number two, the game's got to give you the RNG roll. So for whatever reason, we weren't actually able to punish that ship. But you saw we did have 2 opportunities to remove him from the game. So that's... Even though he got away with it there, it's technically a mistake for those players to push into those zones when they have to cross open water. You know, again, you're not going to be able to punish them 100% of the time doing it, but... You know, according to the textbook, it is a mistake. There's the Yamato is angled in, and we're going to see, you know, we'll see if we can see those cheek shots or not. I guess we weren't zoomed in, but if you saw where the aim point was, we were basically trying to hit them basically right under that front grouping of turrets there. That's where the armor tapers in. That's that little cheek section. You can punch through that citadel pretty readily there. So if you're fighting against the Yamato, if you can catch them full broadside, you get citadels that way. Or if he's angled towards you, under those front turrets. That's the cheek section. There's the oddly shaped citadel located in there. You could actually citadel it even when it's steeply angled. So had that salvo right there that we just zoomed in on, had that been a waterline shot, that probably would have been a citadel shot on that ship. So that is kind of the main weakness, the weak spot of the Yamato. You need to understand that when you're going against the ship. If it's pointed at you, shoot it in those cheeks. Battleships, I mean, smaller caliber AP is probably not going to go through those, but battleships should be able to penetrate that. Here I tried to set up the double strike. We got 1 turret off on the Vlad. Missed that shot, actually, but the Alaska, I think this is Alaska that we blasted second salvo in the game. He got away for a while there, but we finally sent him back to hell where he belongs. So that's kind of the imposing threat that the Yamato is. And again, it's the inability of the enemy ships to really angle against you. It really puts the onus on them to protect themselves by other means. Anyway, this seemed like a high damage game, but as you get more and more legendary tier ships, more and more HP, 300, 400,000 K damage games, not going to shock me whatsoever. So compared to your standard tier 7 game, it looked like a lot of damage, but we'll see going forward once that tier gets fleshed out. Anyway, that's a look at the Yamato. Hope you did enjoy it. If you did, please hit the thumbs up. New to the channel, consider subscribing. A lot of World of Warships coming all the time. Questions, comments, leave below. Peace.